G'day fellas and welcome to an FFA guide for the Japanese. In this video we'll be taking a look at the Japanese and a really strong build order that you can use for them in FFA. So let's get to it and start off by looking at starting position. So we want to prioritize deer and stone on our starting position with the Japanese. We can also change out that stone for a gold if we do manage to find it. And I find a beautiful little spot down here up against the edge of the map, which has got a gold, and it's kind of got deer close enough to it that we can justify pushing them across. So I say, you know what, we're going to take this spot. This looks absolutely amazing. Being up against the edge of the map can be tough, but if you can get away with it, it is really, really nice because it just gives you a defense, a really safe defense for the majority of the game. So we're going to rush all the villagers down here. While we're on the way, we're going to make sure that we split up the king. Just get a bit of an idea as to how the lays of the land looks. It's very important that we find additional sources of food. So this food right here is going to be more than enough for us to start with. We want to try and make sure that it's right underneath our town center, but we will be looking to expand out over to different locations as well as the game goes on. The other thing to note is that we are going to be going for the Kura storehouse, which means that we're going to have a very easy transition into farms. Now, the strategy that we're going to be doing today is going to be a 2-town center fast castle, which is pretty much considered the standard strategy to do in FFAs. For the Japanese, it's a little bit more different because they are very aggressive out of the gates, and you've got a number of options as to how you be aggressive with the Japanese as well. So we're going to start off with a scout like most typical build orders do, and we're going to start heading towards the middle of the map. We'll speed it up and get things rolling. So I'm starting off with 5 villagers over onto deer. So deer is definitely the most powerful start that you can have as the Japanese. You might be thinking berries would be the best idea, but for me, I like to wait and save my berries until I'm at least in the feudal age, just because I like to take advantage of Tawara as well as Takazaiku. They are the Tier 1 and Tier 2 wheelbarrow upgrades that also increase the berry gather speed. So the sooner we can get those, the better. And even though it's nice to have the berries in the Dark Age, I prefer waiting until the feudal age. So that's why I think deer is very, very strong on the Japanese. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is, or rather after we have gone into the middle of the map and hopefully picked up some sheep, is we're going to be looking for our neighbors. It's going to be really important to discover who is close to us, who is far away from us. These are really important factors because that's going to determine our unit composition. That's going to determine, do we go into cavalry or do we go into infantry? So I would argue, or I would make the argument that, I guess that's the same as I would argue, I would suggest if you've got people close to you, you want to start out with infantry. So that means that if you've got a neighbor that is like right here, as an example, you would just go straight into infantry. But if you're playing and you've got a little bit of space, so let's say that orange is my nearest neighbor here, so quite literally half the map, which, by the way, can we just improve or increase the size of the map? There we go. I don't know why it's so small. Have I been playing with it like that for a while? I suspect I probably have. Anyway, if the nearest neighbor is orange, then instead of going into samurai, I want to go into mounted samurai instead. So now that I've got my age up, I'm going to start looking to drop down that second town center. Now, in the event that I had a stone under my town center instead of a gold under the TC, what I would be using is that stone rather than the gold to age up. So if you're familiar with the 2-town center strategy that the Japanese can do, it's the exact same thing that we'd be looking to do. So in that case, we'd be rushing up the Kura storehouse with a few more villagers, and we'd have about 450 stone at this point, and then we'd be just moving over onto wood at that stage. So if you've played the Japanese before in 1v1, you'll probably be familiar with their 2TC opening. Even though it hasn't really been in the meta for a couple of months now, it's definitely been a lot more focused on that fast castle. So we're going to look to throw down our second town center. When we put our Kura storehouse down, you've got a couple of options, but I'm looking just to keep it simple, and I just want to offset it by 2 tiles from the main town center. I want to keep it perfectly adjacent so that all of the farms will be covered by my inevitable upgrade to the Daimyo Manor. This is important because we want to make sure that every single farm that we've got is covered by that influence. So as the age up comes through, we're going to be working towards that second town center. Depending on the type of spawn you've got will depend on where you put your second town center. For me, because I've got lots of space, as you can see, we are very, very happy in this game because we don't really have anybody near us here. I can opt to be a little bit more, what's the word? perfectionist with my second town center. Instead of placing it down, so as an example, let's say that we had an aggressor in the north and they were threatening our gold. We could place the second town center on top of the gold on this side to help protect it. Whereas in this situation, I don't have an aggressor on the north side of the base. I've got absolutely nobody, at least nobody that I've discovered just yet, hint hint. And as a result, it means that that I can just be very casual. So I'm going to go and put it next to the Kura storehouse farms that are slowly but steadily coming up at the moment. Another thing that you want to do is make sure you're pulling off villagers as they, pulling off villagers onto the farms as the farms are coming up. This is really important because this is an infinite source of food, and we want to make sure that we are taking advantage of that. So now that the second town center is about to come up, our main focus here is gold and food. We're going to keep a couple of villagers on wood, just a couple of them, and we're going to maintain villager production from both of the town centers. And now we're going to start sending out villagers across the map. So we've got 5 villagers that are going to go out over onto the farm or onto the berries. And straight away, we're looking to get our Tawara upgrade. So Tawara is going to come through. We're going to make sure that the next upgrade that we come through with is the level 2 wheelbarrow. This is going to be really, really important for us because with that wheelbarrow, that is going to enable us just to have a much more efficient pick up and drop off of the berries. And we want to prioritize the berries around here, but there's nothing that stops us from also picking up survival techniques. We do have 5 deer that are still down here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 packs of deer that are relatively close. Now in our north, we've just spotted out our closest neighbor. I say close, but I mean, he's still pretty far away. Definitely far away enough to justify going into mounted samurai rather than going into just your standard samurai. Now, the reason why I think going into standard samurai rather than mounted samurai if you've got a close neighbor is because if they look to attack you, and there is a good chance that they will, mounted samurai are going to have a tougher time against units like spearmen, which are very common in the feudal age when people attack, whereas samurai are just very good against all feudal age units. So that is my thinking. If you've got people close to you, opt for the samurai. So I've got 10 vils on gold. Everybody else I'm going to be rallying out to food up until 25 vils on food. Then I'll be rallying out to wood. And the thinking behind this is quite simple. We want to try and prioritize as many upgrades as we possibly can in the feudal age. So all of our eco upgrades. If we take a look at the Kura storehouse, you can see we picked up absolutely everything except for forestry. But the good news is we'll be getting forestry as well. Because we're on 2 town centers, it makes sense to get more upgrades for our economy because we have more villagers. So we're going to be able to take more advantage of that. If that's probably not the right way to say it. So we continue moving forward, and now we look to put down our Castle Age landmark. So in this situation, I want to put my Castle Age landmark away from my town center because my town center is going to be providing me this bonus for my farms. So this is really important. So I want to make sure that I put it towards the edge like how I've done here, making sure that I'm able to put as many farms as possible in the area underneath my town center. So now that we've got the age up that's come through, we're going to also drop down a stable. This is really important for us because we're going to be putting a Yorishiro in this. And we're also going to be taking note of any relics that are still on the map. Now, in this game here, Orange has taken the central spawn. If we take a look at his position here, he hasn't found that many relics. He's only got the 1 relic at the moment. Second prelate is on the way back in. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened out there, but he's not having the best of luck with regard to relics. I don't know how many are on this map, but it is always hard when the stealth forests are involved. It just makes life a little bit more difficult. So only 1 relic is going to be tough, but fortunately this relic down here, he is yet to spot it out, which means that we'll be happy to go and take it off his hands once our floating gate comes through. So you can see I've got my waypoints already set for the floating gate. It's going to come out, drop the Yorishiro in, immediately walk out, grab the relic, and then it's going to bring the relic back into the base. So I'd encourage you to do that. Now we've got the Yorishiro inside the stable. That's going to give us crazy amounts of production for this stable. So we're going to be working the equivalent of 3 stables right now, just pumping non-stop units. And this feels really, really good to be doing. We're also going to throw down a second stable. You won't be able to keep up with the second stable initially, but eventually you will be able to outproduce you'll be able to out-boom the 2 stables. There was a part of me that was throwing up whether I should put a second Yorishiro into the stable as well. I think it's a pretty smart move to do it, just simply because it allows you to essentially just focus on units. And that's really what you want to do. You just want to build up as many units as you possibly can. The more units that you've got, the more siege that you've got. And the more siege that you've got, the sooner you're going to be able to take down enemy keeps. So we just kind of chill out for the moment. The next thing that we're going to be thinking about is who we attack. Now, naturally, you might be thinking we want to attack our neighbors because this guy's really close. Let's just quickly pause it right here while we've got them all up on the screen. So we've got Yellow up here. he's still in the feudal age. We could probably take him out right now, and there'd be nothing he could do. But he's not really my focus. In fact, my focus are the people who are going to be eliminated first. To me, it makes the more sense to go after the people that are likely to be eliminated than the people that are less likely to be eliminated. And the reason for that is simple. I want to get the kill. And if let's say I go over here and I pick a fight with Wood Tornado, and it unfortunately turns out that it's not just a Wood Tornado, maybe it's a bit of like a ceramic tornado, maybe there's some cement in there as well, and I get pushed back, and I wasn't expecting the defense that he was able to pull off. Maybe he gets Castle Age, gets crossbows out, and now I'm in real trouble. Now I'm fighting against him. Now I've got to get, you know, all levels of infantry out. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, blue kills pink, then blue kills teal, and then now all of a sudden blue is up an extra 100 pop, and we got to go deal with that. That's something that you just don't want to allow to happen. So let's keep on moving forward here. So we're going to look to try and attack somebody not on the other side of the map necessarily, but somebody who is going to be fighting with another person. There was a great post on Reddit that I think it was a tweet or something like that, and it basically said, you never know what battles people are fighting, so start attacking them, and now they can be fighting 2 battles. And I think that really says a lot about, well, that's quite accurate when it comes to FFA. You know, even if this guy's over here fighting another battle, maybe he's fighting up against blue or something like that, we want to just go into his base and just do everything that we can just to try and win the game, or at least win from our position. So let's take a look at... I'll just also mention, this guy is map hacking. Currently rank like 30, 35 on the FFA ladder. I will share his profile. This is him right here. Map hacking, 100%. I've gone into the replay, I've confirmed. And the reason why I know he's map hacking is because he beat me in this game. You'll see a little bit later on, but he just kills every single villager I've got that's outside my walls. Like I can't do anything, man. Like it's kind of wild. So yeah, in the end, I do lose this game because this guy... I mean, you'll see what happens, but yeah, it's not pretty. Anyways, the game still stands. The reason why I'm just saying that right now is because I know that a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I remember this one guy that commented. He's like, "Why would you post a guide for a game where you lost?" And it's like, bro, you know, I'm like playing against a top 10 player, right? Like, it doesn't really matter if I lost or if I won. The point is, like, it's an example of what we're doing, and that's exactly what this is, right? We're showing you an example of how to do it and giving you the guidelines, we're trying to set the guardrails for this strategy. So this part of the game, it gets pretty boring. All we're doing, we're just making villages. We're getting upgrades. We're looking to upgrade our cavalry as much as we can. We're also going to get a banner man out. Eventually you'll get extra stone that comes through. I remember casting a Japanese game a little bit earlier in the week, and I'm like, where is he getting this stone from? He had like passive stone generating. I'm like, he's got like 400 stone. Where's he getting it from? And I completely forgot that the Japanese generate stone from their gold gathering villages. So I look like a little bit of a silly billy from that. But yeah, so eventually you'll get 300 stone. So obviously upgrade your daimyo as soon as you can. And then once you've got your daimyo mana in, then make sure you get your banner man out. And we're just going to look to mass up cavalry. That's the idea. We ideally want to hit about 25 to 30. We're also just going to go capture the sacred site. We don't really care about this sacred site at all. It's just free gold, so we'll just go take it. We're going to get denied out pretty quick. What's Yellow doing over here? I just realized Yellow like immediately responds from the other side of the map. I guess he's out here harassing? Maybe that's the play. How did Orange go? Did he get any more relics? Doesn't look like it, poor guy. Sitting on 2 relics in the middle of the map, and there's no other Holy Roman Empire in the game. But I guess that's the consequence of not going double scout. You want to go double scout. Double scout is just so important. Like, you can delay your age up by 25 seconds if it means you get 5 extra relics. It's kind of worth. All right, well, let's take a look and see how we're doing. So we're moving out of the base. You can see we've got 21 mounted samurai. We're going to make sure that we bring any additional samurai with us. One of the other things that we're doing is we're making sure we're moving our villagers out. I like to move them up in like groups of 5. So here you can see I got a big group, but like here we've got a group of 4. Over here we've just got a little group, a group of 7. So just small groups like that out to your food sources. I really like doing that. All right, so we're now in position. Let's take a look and see. I want to just keep checking in with the cheater just to see what he's doing, because he's pretty obvious. Like, hold on, if we just go take a look right now, you'll see. What are we looking at? I mean, we're attacking right now, so it's not really fair. But yeah. Anyway, let's speed it up. I want to just watch him. Just gonna throw down some farms. I mean, this is probably not the best time to watch him when he's attacking. Like, oh, he's looking at the enemy base. Yeah, mate, because he's inside the enemy base, you dickhead. Anyway, speaking of enemy base, let's go take a look and see what we're up to. So we're inside the enemy base as well. So Teal has just been chilling out. He went for like 2 barracks, I think, and then a second TC, and then went for Castle Age. I much prefer just going straight for 2 TCs, Castle Age, and then getting your production out. Makes life much easier. So we're just going to be working down the town center slowly but steadily, making sure that we are covering the exit. So we want to make sure that the king is not going to be able to run away from us. And as soon as that king comes out, just go straight for the throat. And once the king is taken out, what do? We immediately move back towards our base. Because now that if the opponent... so let's say, as an example, Wood Tornado, he has, you know, he's seen over here, like he's done a king check, and he sees, oh my god, like there are all of these red mounted samurai in the base, and he knows that red's down here, then he just can come and attack red very easily. So that's something that we need to be really careful of as well. All right, so now that we've got a kill under our belt, we can relax, okay? It's before 20 minutes. We're pretty happy with how things have gone so far, and now we can just look at expanding. One of the mistakes that I make here is that I don't have any more town centers in, and this is a big mistake because I should definitely be doing that. So I've added in 2 town centers, or I've got 2 town centers at this point, but I definitely should have gone up to at least 3, probably up to 4 town centers at this stage, because we're still quite early into the game, and I do have that extra 50 population to play around with. So we'll keep speeding up here, and at this stage I'm thinking, all right, we're probably going to want to move into infantry into the late game. So I like to move away from mounted samurai. I think mounted samurai are very, very strong at the start of your Castle Age and at the start of Imperial Age, but I think they fall off towards Imperial Age, just mainly because they're quite gold intensive, and I just much prefer having normal samurai out on the field with a whole bunch of siege behind it. So we're going to continue now. Pushing out, we spot out yellow. We're just going to stop him from gathering up this gold. We see a bit of a push coming out, and so I figure, you know what? Let's just go and see if we can cause some havoc over in his base. Meanwhile, we're looking to go Imperial Age as well, so we're going to throw down the Taganashima Gunsmith in a nice, safe location. Unfortunately, it might seem safe, but when your opponent's got map hacks, it is not as safe as you would like to think it is. So yeah, that always sucks. We'll just say that much. All right, so we clean up some villages, and we confirm that the opponent is fully walled in, fully stone walled in, well, that's unfortunate for us. So we want to avoid this fight right now because we've gone Imperial Age, or at least we're going Imperial Age, so we want to upgrade our units. Really, really important to do. I do actually make a mistake, and that is that I don't upgrade my Mounted Samurai, even though I'm not looking to make any more of them. Having 41 Mounted Samurai, you kind of want them to be elite upgraded. They're pretty important. But yeah, for some reason, I just didn't do it. I guess I was thinking to myself, I couldn't find the gold for it. We're going to continue adding in more and more farmers. So you can see that we've got a whole bunch of farmers that are empty at the moment, but these guys should be the ones down here. They were originally the ones building the landmark. We told them to come back, but then I've decided, you know what? Maybe we should just build a wall as well. Build a wall. All right, so now the composition is quite simple. It's very similar to the Holy Roman Empire, Order of the Dragon, Siege. You'll be familiar with it. So the idea is bombards. The idea is mangonels. And of course, the front line is just going to be samurai. We're also going to mix in spears if we see cavalry. We can also mix in Onabagation, but they are a little bit more expensive when it comes to the gold front. So you don't have to go into the Onabagation. But it's a pretty nice little cleanup that we've got here. Our opponent is also in the Imperial Age, so we've got elite crossbows. And they're doing a fair bit of damage here, a lot more than I would like. And we're quite discombobulated in this fight. Let's go check in with our map hacker. I just want to quickly just check in with him and see what he's looking at, see where he's looking. So he's already got 1 kill, if I remember correctly. Let's go have a look and see if we can spot out anything. There we go. Oh, it's okay. He could already see that one through the fog of war. We're still looking. Oh, what are we looking at right here? Oh, we're just looking at the orange base. Okay, fair enough. Just looking at the orange base. Yeah, it's fine. Nothing sus. Just the orange base. All right, anything else we're going to look at in here? No. Just some wood. Checking through the forest. Looking up where we're going to draw some walls. Oh, what have we got out here? You can kind of see it through the fog, but he can see it through the fog. We can say that much. All right, well, that's enough watching the map hacker for now. Let's jump back to us and check in with how we're doing. So we're transitioning at this stage into our Imperial Age army. So our mounted samurai are on the way out, and our elite samurai are on the way in. So one of the key things we want to remember to do is make sure that we get our upgrades for these units. They've got lots of different upgrades that you can get. So make sure you look to pick them up. A little bit of a mistake here. I'm losing a lot of vills. I don't know how many vills I've lost this game, but I feel like I reckon I probably lost close to 300 villagers this game. It was absolute insanity how many vills I lost this game. It was kind of wild. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Now, to be fair, do I think I could have won this game? Probably not, just because I needed to leave my base to go and get resources. Like, maybe if I walled off completely, but I don't think I had the stone to do that. So I don't know. It's always so hard when your opponent's got map hacks in the late game, because they can just kill all of your villagers outside your walls. So unless you can really decisively kill them, it's very, very hard to do. All right, so we're going to continue now. As you can see, we've got a decent mass here, so one of the things I love to do early on is use my Taganashima Gunsmith to get bombards, because bombards are very expensive units. So if we can use the Taganashima Gunsmith to get some bombards, then, you know, it's free real estate. So we want to be taking full advantage of that as well. And now that we've maxed out, we can look to try and pick up our upgrades. So we're going to go into Oda Tactics. We're also going to make sure that we pick up Siege Works and Court Architects. So basically picking up all of the Imperial upgrades, except for these two, which are very commonly ignored. So one of the things that we're doing here is we're very aware that he may look to run the king. So that's what we're doing at this stage, is we're putting these cavalry units into position to intercept any potential king run. Now, one thing to note here is, because when we're attacking this player, we want to attack him on this bottom side. And the reason why is because our reinforcements are going to come through from this angle. So if we were to attack him on this top side here, what would happen is our reinforcements would take a little bit longer, and there's the chance that they could just get intercepted by a force that comes around. So we want to avoid that from happening. But at the same time, we also want to avoid him running the king. But if he's got a gate like this up towards the north, there's really not much you can do about it. All you can really do is just know that he can run the king and just be aware of it. And remember that I do really think that that is a skill issue. I've definitely changed my mind on king donations. I think of king donations as almost 100% a skill issue. With the exception of like very ultra late game king gifts, where you're kind of like next to somebody and you're just gifting them like across a stone wall, that sort of thing. That's a different case, because that's very hard to counterplay. But I guess the argument that you can make there is yeah, the argument that you could make there in that situation is that you know that could happen, so you need to calculate that and calculate not getting the king in your decision-making process. So we're going to be looking, once again, for the king. We know that he's probably going to have moved the king, so my focus is instead going to be on killing his landmarks, because the sooner we kill the landmarks, the sooner we stop the king. On top of that, we need to get a scout over here, or some sort of unit that's going to be able to build, a villager, to build some landmarks, or sorry, to build some outposts. That'll give us line of sight, because remember that there is stealth forest everywhere on this map, so you're not going to be able to find a king in the stealth forest. It's going to be very, very difficult for you. So we're just going to work down the landmarks. A little bit of a miscalculation here by Yellow. I don't even know where his army is. Is this his army? This might be his army right here. Or maybe he's gone and attacked, maybe he went and attacked Orange. I'm not quite sure what happened. Yeah, so we're going to focus down each of the landmarks here. So we've taken out 3 landmarks here, and now we're going to take out the 4th one. Now remember that you can't see kings once they've died. So maybe what I should be doing in this situation is waiting until the last landmark is about to die. And the moment that it's about to die, then I use my king thing so I can see where the king is. Because we do eventually find him, but it takes a lot, right? Like, it takes a lot of time. We have to send like a whole little force up here. I give these guys a different control group. These guys are like my tactical hit squad, 2 bombards and some samurai. And everybody else is just going to go back to base. Because at the moment, we're on 250 pop, but we're essentially going to be on 300 pop once we get that kill. Now, speaking of 300 pop, this guy up in the north here has 300 pop as well, if I remember correctly. He has an absolutely huge army. So, where is the king? Either that, or he just hasn't built his houses yet. Can we double check where his houses? He's on 24 houses, and surely he doesn't have 1 TC. Okay, he hasn't got the king kill yet. Does he not see the king? It's kind of interesting to me that he didn't come down and kill this king. He definitely could have. Was Blue really on only 250 pop this whole game? Because if so, like, well played to him, even though he's map hacking, and, you know, I absolutely despise that. You know what? I was going to say well played to him. No, not well played to him, because he is map hacking. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, you know, how can you... you'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. All right. Let's keep going. So we do eventually find, with a scout, we locate the king, and that gives us 300 pop. So what we want to do is we want to try and max our pop out immediately. You can see our economy's not doing that hot though, and that's the difficult thing that happens when you start getting to this late game stage, because you've only got 2 town centers, but you end up having like 50 production buildings. So the moment you get any more population space, you end up building 2 villages and 48 samurai. So your samurai number goes up insanely, but your villager number kind of stays low. So it's just important to remember to keep them in queue, as we're not doing at the moment. Do as I say, not as I do. So we get attacked by Orange here. Definitely the right call for Orange to attack us, just mainly because we've got the 300 population now, and he would be well and truly aware of that. But we're just going to make sure that we focus on just chilling out. The most important thing for us right now is to just chill. We just want to chill. We want to get to 200, or maximum population, so 300. And we want to sit there on 300 pop, and then once we're comfortable, then we can look to move out. So if I was going to talk about things that I could do better here, I've got a stone wall up around my base, around the perimeter of my base. My king's relatively safe. He's inside the Shogunate Castle, 16,900 health. So I'm not going to go to the extent of saying I think that you should stonewall in your king as the Japanese. I think if your opponent wants to try and take this down, good luck. That's the best way I think about it, because like even if they do take this down, I'm just going to pop him out, throw him in the Kura storehouse, pop him out, throw him in the Daimyo Manor. Like there's a lot of options that we've got when it comes to how we want to play that. So I guess one of the things looking back on it that I would change is I would wall across these wood lines. That is definitely something I would do. And I would begin creating a secondary perimeter, because we do have 3k stone, so we could definitely look to use that. And if we take a look at the minimap, like I've got really good line of sight across here. The only problem is because my opponent Blue is map hacking, he can just clear these out really easily. Like he just looks on his minimap and he just right clicks them all. And you know, he never sends a scout with them. He never uses, like he doesn't do the outposts himself, because he can just see everything, right? Like he doesn't ever have to build line of sight. He can never lose line of sight. He's always got line of sight. And that's very difficult to, you know, deny or to play against somebody that's doing that. So now we're going to start pushing forward towards Orange. Orange is going to be our next target. This is a bit of a difficult spot, because I know that Orange has got only 200 population. At least he should only... Oh, Orange got the kill in the north. Okay, never mind. I thought Orange had only 200 population. I was confident that Blue got 2 kills, but never mind. Well, my thinking was that I knew that Orange only had 200 pop, so I was going to be absolutely fine attacking into him, but he's actually got 250. One of the mistakes he makes is he doesn't mix Lanch Connector. He's only got men-at-arms. He's got 56 men-at-arms. He's actually probably got a whole bunch more than that. Indeed, he does. 23 men-at-arms. Going to come out here and do a little bit of attacking. So, he is... He's going to send away some of his forces. Let's just check in with Blue. I just want to see what Blue's doing. He's stonewalling up. I'm curious to see whether he checks out our armies or not. Let's have a look and see. Oh, what are we looking at over here, Blue? Oh, we're looking at all the men-at-arms and the impending attack that's coming in from Red. Now what are we looking at? Look at this. Oh, we're looking at the villages that are coming up, and we're going to send off a couple of knights. Did you see that? We had a look at the villages from Drongo that are up here to build outposts, and we're just going to deny them. We're not going to allow them. We're going to do an attack move in this direction. Look at that. Isn't it so nice to have map hacks? Oh, gosh. Oh, we're going to have a look inside the base of Drongo. Oh, look at that. We're having a look at the barracks. So there you go. Okay, for anybody wondering, 100% he's map hacking. Don't question me. I promise you. He's map hacking. All right? That's enough. Okay. All right. So let's keep moving forward and talk a little bit about what our late game goals are. So our goals here now as the Japanese are to maintain a very strong food economy, to maintain full upgrades, and to start building a lot of production. We want a huge amount of production here. So if we take a look at our production at the moment, 26 Raxes and 7 siege workshops. Absolutely perfect. We're going for a huge amount of mangonels, because remember that we've got our Yoroshiros. So I've got 4 Yoroshiros. Ideally, I should have a 5th and 6th Yoroshiro, but I'm not the best Japanese player. I'll say that much. This is my first or second time playing them in quite a while. Let's put it that way. So we've got passive gold coming in. We also have relics that are contributing gold, which means we've always got a nice little bit of gold in the bank ready for us to use. So that's perfect for mangonels. It's also perfect for samurai, because they only cost 30 gold and 100 food. So it's very, very nice to take care of yourself. The other thing that we're going to be doing is Ozutsu. Now, you can save up your tickets. I would recommend that you don't save up your tickets. You want to try and get your Ozutsu out on the field. They're very, very strong units, and the sooner you get them, the sooner you can start taking advantage of having them out on the field. But now behind, you can see that we have got problems. Blue realizes, okay, well, hold on. Red's probably going to be able to take out orange here. So let's just go and cause some trouble for him. So he starts, you know, looking around the back here. Where are we going with these? What? Let's have a look and see. Oh, he's just changed directions. We're attacking. What are we attacking right here? We're just going to go and attack some barracks. What are we doing over here? These guys are just going to come in and go right here. Now, he could just kill Vils right here if he wanted. He's not going to. He knows, you know why. Because red is the main threat. That is indeed correct. So definitely the right decision. Yeah, so one of the things that you'll start seeing him doing is just clearing out all of the outposts that are in here. Even though they're in the stealth forest, he just clears them out very easily. Just runs to them like one by one, just playing connect the dots. And so now that we've seen our opponent has got quite a lot of knights out here, we're going to start looking to invest into veterancy. So when it comes to our upgrades, we've got all the relevant upgrades that you would need. Absolutely everything. And the big focus here is just, as I said before, infantry and siege. Now, all of our reinforcements are now starting to get picked up by the French player. He's trying to cut us off, and he's doing a pretty decent job because these are fully upgraded French elite royal knights. So we basically got one chance right here. We need to dive. We need to go for the last landmark, and we're going to confirm where the king location is right here. I think we've already... Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. Drongo working it out perfectly. The last landmark goes down. Orange dies, and we know exactly where that king is. So that was done a little bit better that time. And I think that's probably how you want to do it. Maybe use it once as you're attacking, and then use it once right as you're about to kill the last landmark. And now we're up to 350 pop. So from here, it's a pretty simple for us to win. But I make a lot of mistakes in this late game because I didn't know at the time that he actually had map hacks. It wasn't until I actually went in afterwards, and I was a little bit sus because he was just killing all my outposts so easily. I was a little bit sus, but I wasn't 100% on him. So the first thing that we want to do now is just consolidate. We want to bring all of our forces into the same location. The trouble is when your opponent's got map hacks, they can see everywhere that your units are, and then they can just subsequently just go and intercept them and attack them. So as an example right here, we've got a nice little attack move route. What's he looking to intercept? Looks like some infantry over here that is all by itself, some hand cannoneers and some samurai. Also, yeah, he's got more cavalry coming up, and looks like we've got a second group that's now going to also be intercepting here. So that'll be nice for him. Lots of Ozutsu for free. And yeah, at this stage, like, he's on 250 pop. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. 170 Vils he had. Yeah, pretty decent sized army though. So let's ride on board with us and take a look at what our plan is. So we're going to continue adding in more production towards the front of the base. And from here, basically, the idea is very simple, and this is where I'm making the mistake. I need to consolidate to 350 pop. I need to get to 350 pop, and then I need to sit. I wait a little bit, normally till about 10,000 food is when you want to wait, and then you can go. And then you only want to fight them when you're at 300, or you only want to fight them when you're at max pop. So see here how I'm pushing out? This is overconfidence, and this is a bad idea. On top of that, I'm also going to go look to attack him. I'm thinking to myself, this guy's not 250 pop. This guy's not 300 pop. There's no way he stands a chance if I just go push him. But I make the mistake of going across the map, not realizing that there was a counterattack coming. So he'd done a great job in clearing all my outposts out from all this position. So I had full line of sight over here previously. I don't have any line of sight, so I've got no idea what's coming. I see a couple of siege workshops, and I know, okay, maybe he's prepping something right there. But we do need to be careful. And he's just going to look to start putting pressure down here on the south. I'm not going to play you out the whole game, just because, well, to be honest, it's kind of sad. So we do finally hit that 350 pop. We're having a good time. Trouble is, as I said, we made a mistake. And this is one of those classic mistakes where when you've got the lead, you don't want to take risks. When you've got the lead, you just want to play it simple. You want to play it safe. And that's something that we avoid doing. Or not something that we avoid doing, something that we don't do. So right here, I've got 229 units on the sacred side. These units should just be rallied over here. We should just be over here just clearing out this counterattack and looking to rebuild our line of sight. But it's very hard because, as you can see, right now, he's just rallying out units to clear out these outposts. He doesn't know these outposts are here, but he just can clear them out because he's got external tools. And it makes it very difficult because, like, you're playing... This guy's a good player, right? Like, everything that he did in this game was pretty good. Like, I was impressed with his play. His micro was good. Evidently, his macro was good. But on top of that, he also just knows everything. And that's really, really hard. You can beat map hackers, but there are circumstances where it's difficult or more difficult. And this is one of those circumstances where I've got stone walls up around the core of my base, And that means everything inside my base is fine. The trouble is, I'm losing villagers very, very quickly. I'm down to 65 villagers. And this is something that I don't realize during the game. I'm losing villagers like crazy. He's just picking them off everywhere. And you can hear those reinforcements coming in. Those are from villagers that are dying. And they're being replaced. That's essentially what's happening. So now we're going to have to force this one back. Force this fight back. I'm gonna mute it here and just show you a little bit of the mistakes that we make. So we push forward here. The only siege that we've got are mangonels. Like, that's the only thing that we can use to get through stone walls, are mangonels, which obviously is not a smart move, especially when you've got, like, look at the size of this force, 170 units. It's crazy, and just such a huge mistake, because we're going to lose all of it eventually, right? Like, he's just going to wear us down. He'll get out some hand cannoneers and, you know, lead us over to his keep, and that'll help him out. And eventually, you know, we're not going to make it through 2 stone walls thick, let alone, you know, eventually getting into the Red Tower, or Red Palace, where there is another stone wall. Like, that's just not going to happen with 3 mangonels for our... He was trading this whole time as well. I didn't even realize he was trading. I was thinking he might be trading. Like, I was wondering where he was getting all the gold. 149 gold? He's setting up the markets. Oh my god, look at this. There's a freaking... Jeez Louise. Wow, talk about fortunate, huh? This is literally max market right here. That's where he was getting all of his gold from. I was thinking to myself, where is he getting all the gold for knights here? This is insane. Okay, there you go. I guess, you know, one of the good things about... you know, having this. Oh, and he's got the unique gold upgrade as well for traders, which is definitely something quite handy in the late game. But yeah, anyway, so he's just going to look to continue putting on pressure over here. He's going to continue attacking me and my villagers from every single angle. So at the moment, we're on 65 villages. We're trying to work our way back up, and I realize, you know, we've lost so many vills, we need to rebuild with the town centers. But of course, he knows where our town centers are, so he's going to start putting pressure on down there. Yeah, from here, it's just very hard for us to rebuild because we've lost a huge amount of our villages, and we've only got the 2 town centers. We're only slowly just rebuilding. And so my thinking is, at this stage, all I really want to do is make mangonels, spears, and just sit behind my walls. If I can do that, then I'm going to be okay. But the problem is, because he's map hacking, I can't get the resources unless they're behind walls. And I can't make them behind walls if there are units out there. So immediately, you know, I realize, okay, like, he's just coming over here, right? Like, he's got absolutely no vision whatsoever, but as you can see, like, he's moving right here, and we take a look and see what's there. Oh, look, it's all of my villagers, right? So I'm able to see that, and I'm able to counteract that with a stone wall really, really quickly. But as you will know, that the AI of stone walls is not the best. And we're going to put 46 villagers building this one segment, and nobody is going to build this segment right here. Oh, isn't it lovely? So you have to manually tell them. Fortunately, we managed to manually tell them to do it, and they get it done at the last second. But we almost lost another 36 villagers in there. Probably more. How many have we got? No, 36 vills. So that would have taken me down from 97 vills down to 61 vills again. So you can see the problem. And this just continues to happen, right? Like, he runs his units absolutely everywhere. And so I finally say to myself, okay, maybe we can look to try and get some stone walls up and secure this. If we can secure this front, we can access this wood. We can start to feel good about our economy. It's pretty close to our town centers here, so we can just, you know, rally them across. That'll be lovely. We're on 5 TCs now, so all we really need to do is just survive, right? So I'm thinking mangonels, spearmen, right? Like, keep it simple, mangonels, spearmen. He starts taking Sacred Site. I say, okay, well, we can just send like 2 or 3 units up here, just neutralize it, and see if we can neutralize it, right? Meanwhile, he's out here hitting like these vills in the stealth forest because, well, yeah, of course he is. It's not easy. It's not easy playing against a guy that can see everything. He found this outpost that I was building up here with a villager, denies it immediately. He's just absolutely everywhere, right? Like, it just, when it comes to the late game, there's so many things that you want to do with vision, right? Like, you need to deny vision from your opponent. You need to gain it for yourself. You need to secure resources. You need to monitor movement of enemy troops. You need to keep track of where enemy positions are, and, you know, where their forward bases are. And it's just not something that you can do when your opponent is so easily able to take down your buildings and take down your villagers. But yeah, other than that, I would just say, like, my biggest mistake here is, I think other than that, I probably wanted to build up my farming economy a little bit more. Like, it's definitely not where it should be, right? Like, I should be sitting on probably close to like 70 or 80 farms right now. I should have a lot of farms down here around my town centers. So I think probably the biggest mistake I made was just not adding in more TCs in the mid game and getting that villager count up to like 160, 170. I definitely didn't need an army this big earlier on. Once I think I killed the Holy Roman Empire player, you know, that's where I should probably be sitting at about 200 vils, somewhere around that. So I think that would be the biggest mistake that I made. But yeah, other than that, you know, it was just pretty much me trying to play whack-a-mole with him and his forward bases, and you know, he had a lot of units now. And if we take a look at his population, so he's still got a pretty decent economic base behind this, right? Like 150 eco units. He's got 3k gold a minute, which is insanity, especially at this stage of the game. But yeah, it felt like this could have been a game that I could have won. The reality is, when you're up against somebody that can see everything, it just makes it so much harder. But anyway, we will leave it there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this game. In the end, yeah, we weren't able to overcome him, and he was just relentless with his pressure that he put on. Didn't really give us an opportunity to rebuild, especially once that villager count got low. It was just very difficult. And yeah, other than that, I'm kind of tempted to go have a look at the graph at the end, just to see how many vils I lost. It doesn't tell you how many vils you lost, but you can like see the graph and just like how much it goes up and how much it goes down. So maybe let's go just quickly have a look at that. What's the in-game time? 105. So we got another 4 minutes, and at 8x speed, that's not a long time. It's 30 seconds. So we're gonna try it again. I completely didn't realize that he broke through up here. I mustn't have been paying attention. But yeah, he got through here. And once he got through here, I was like, okay, I can't really get back from this, because my villager count has once again tanked down very, very quickly. Yeah, he's just kind of in the base now and just spamming units in. He's got a lot of forward production. You can see he's just spamming it out, just non-stop. And yeah, there's really not much we can do when he's that on the ball. And like he's doing the right thing. That's the other thing to note, right? Like he's map hacking and he's playing well, which is very hard to counter. So let's go take a look. I want to have a look at the vil count at the end there. But anyway, that's how you do the Japanese. When it comes to FFAs, as I said, try and ignore the result and focus more on the way that it was played. So if we take a look at the military count, like mine's way too high, right? Like this should be a lot lower. And when it comes to economy count, this should be much higher. And yeah, poor Drongo. Look at all these poor vil losses down here. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this Japanese guide. I'm a big fan of the Japanese. I think they're really strong in FFA, especially if you can get a little bit of space like we did today. And anyway, we'll leave it there, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.